Hello and welcome to I Talk to Ghosts, the podcast that celebrates all things spooky, dark, and purring. Tonight I will be sharing with you spooky stories involving black cats. I'm your spirited host Jennifer, a professional medium and a teller of stories. With Halloween coming up, I thought I would explore the theme of black cats, so I'll be sharing a few intriguing, if not spooky, stories of these midnight felines. As well as for my witchy friends, I'll take you through a good luck spell that involves black cats. I also have a new in-studio spirit reading in which I connect my guest with her beloved cat who has passed on, as well as join me at my seance table for a message from the spirits that may be for you tonight. But first, the stories. The black cats are slinking in right now. When I was younger, whenever I could, I liked to go into our backyard and spend time in our garden. I still love to do this. There were many trees on our property, but there was this plum tree that we had that blossomed twice a year, and I love plums. One weekend, I knew plum season was coming to an end, so I made sure to venture into the back garden to savor what few fruit was left to pick. I found what I could and ate a few plums right there while up in the tree. When I came back down, I saw a black cat. I never saw a cat so black in my life. It didn't have a speck of white fur or any other color, just absolutely, completely black. When I saw it, I thought, oh no, because I knew if my 3 cats saw this black cat, they would be really aggressive towards it. So I threw a plum stone at it to frighten it away and make it run off for its own safety. But in return, I was the one that got frightened. When I threw the stone at it, the cat ran into the bushes, so I waited to see if it would come out to frighten it again. But instead, the stone that I threw was thrown back at me. I ran back to my house in a fright. Luckily, my house is close by, so I didn't fall when I was running. Was the stone really thrown by the cat? I may never know. But I know it was not someone, because the bushes were too thick, and even if it was, I would have seen them. I just cannot explain what happened with that black cat that day. My stepdad grew up in a small town. The summer that he was 10 years old, his dad was at work, and his mother was homesick that day and had to stay in bed to rest. As the eldest among 3 young siblings, he tried to help as best he could and take care of his mom. He walked into the kitchen to get a fresh glass of water for his fevered mother. When he was at the sink, he heard someone calling his name. At first, he thought it was his friend coming over to their house to play with him, but he never heard a knock at the front door. When he looked around, he saw a black cat sitting by the pantry, looking at him. This was strange. How did a cat get inside their house, since all their windows and doors were closed, and they didn't have any pets? He was beyond startled when the cat suddenly talked to him, and it asked him to follow it. He didn't finish pouring the glass of water. He ran to his mother's room and told her what had happened, and convinced her to check the kitchen and the rest of the house, looking for this black cat. There were no windows open, all the doors were closed, and there was no black cat to be found. Are you enjoying your spooky visit? Please support the podcast by liking, sharing, and subscribing. The ghosts may be talkative, but they are lousy at marketing, so every click helps. Tell your friends and please leave a kind review so that others may join us. The spirits and I thank you. Welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. My guest this evening is Sheetal. Sheetal, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing tonight?
Thank you, Jennifer. Happy to be part of the podcast. I'm doing good and excited for the reading.
I'm excited too. Now, I do like to be transparent with people about what I know and what I don't know. Let the listeners know. We had a tarot reading a couple weeks ago, and you had mentioned to me that you had signed up on the I Talk to Ghosts website to possibly have a free reading, and I had missed it. And I'm like, oh, well, let me send you a way to book with me for that reading and to be a guest. And you had said that you were hoping to connect with a pet that had passed away. And I said, is this a cat? And you said, yes, it is. So we are going in. We are going in with that knowledge, predetermined. So from there, I want to open the space. As I ask your kitty to come close, I see him running up to me really quickly. And I feel like this was his way with you, running up to you very quickly. And a very fast, like, you know how cats will bump your legs? Like bump, 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 bump. Like he was just had a lot of energy in that way. Does this sound like him? Is this his mannerisms?
Yes.
Okay. And it's like this vigorous energy about him that's coming through. And I just kind of want to describe it. It feels like he has this way of making noises around you. If like he was aware of, I can thump my tail or I can, bat something to make noise.
Yes, true. So he used to like sit next to me and use his tail to hit sometimes. And also like when I'm working, sit next to the laptop and then use his paw to put on the laptop to indicate that, hey, I'm here.
The paw. He's so cute. That paw reaching out. How cute. How cute. I'm seeing a darker cat with bright eyes.
Yes, he is a black cat. Yes.
Okay. Eyes, really expressive, big eyes.
Yes.
And very curious. You can tell he's thinking when he's looking at things and very curious. When he got older, did he have something going on with his kidneys?
Yes, he had few issues. One of them was with the kidneys.
It feels kind of sharp. You know what I mean? In his kidney
he
area.
was diagnosed with almost like stage 4 kidney failure.
Okay. Yeah. It is always amazing to me how much a pet can convey. And I love to talk about this a bit because I don't do a lot of spirit readings for animals, but it's almost my human brain that gets in the way and says, how are they going to communicate? They don't know English. But I often say when spirits communicate with me, I don't think they're using English either. So it all comes in through feeling and visuals. I'm getting the impression that he doesn't want me to pick him up. If you carried him around, that was a special thing. He wouldn't just let anyone pick him up.
Yes. He usually doesn't like if anyone picks him up except me.
Yeah. Like, it's like squirming and like, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
With his personality, if he didn't get his way or you had to tell him no, he'd get a little moody or he would pout a little bit.
Yes, that's so him. Yes.
But it's funny, as I'm kind of examining about him about this, he's like, oh, but I was so loving and sweet.
He was very loud and very gentle. So
Mm-hmm.
he was very, very, very special. I felt like I had a connection with him, that I can understand him and he can understand me so well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that I know him like for few lifetimes, not
Yeah.
just this. So yeah, he was very, very special. And he let us have parrots, hamsters. We had hamsters with him. And
His feeling with the other animals was he had a curiosity about them and
mm-hmm,
liked to watch them, but it wasn't any kind of attack, prey
yes,
reaction out of him. It's almost like he's watching you and how you interact with them. And so he knows how to interact with them.
he was like a gentle soul, and he was like
Oh.
really, really loud and spoiled.
Let me see what else he wants to show me. Do you feel like he's still with you? Like he comes
Yes,
and he visits?
I have heard his meow
Okay.
many times.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have also physically seen him.
Yeah.
Yes, like he doesn't show himself physically more. I would love for him to show himself physically more. I did catch a glimpse of him like for like a split second or two, like couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Once, like just came home and opened the door, and I saw him ready to go out, and I was about to tell my husband that, oh, please close the door, otherwise he's gonna go out now. He's like coming, running. I literally saw him coming, running
Uh-huh.
just to go out, and then as like then he disappeared. Then I was like, oh shoot, like yeah, he has passed on. He's now no longer here. So yeah, I have
Mm-hmm.
seen him few times.
Yeah, that's funny that when I first saw him in my mind's eye, it was coming running like that, you know?
Yeah. And this, he was always, since I got him when he was like 4 months baby till his passing, he was like all the time more attached to me, always with me. Will he be with me, or is he going to like move on? I know the souls like move on for their
Uh-huh.
next whatever, right? Is he gonna do that soon, or is he gonna like be with me like in this lifetime?
That's a great question. Like, is he going to come back?
Even in his spirit form, is he gonna like be with me uh, throughout my lifetime here, or is he gonna come as a different pet,
Mm-hmm.
or is he
Mm-hmm.
going to like just move on and continue his journey?
I tend to think that as spirits, we can do more than one thing at the same
Mm-hmm,
time because time isn't what we think it is. And I don't pretend to know any of the answers. It feels like he pops in and out for you.
mm-hmm,
All right, this is the impression I'm getting from him, that he
okay.
wants to stick around right now as a voice of intuition for you.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
That he wants to have soul to soul conversations with you. So if you ever feel the need to open the space and just, in your mind, say, hey, come close. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Ask
Mm-hmm,
him his opinion, use him for intuition,
mm-hmm,
and then just leave the space open for him to respond without reaching or trying. He wants to give you comfort,
mm-hmm.
and he just seems so smart. He's like human smart, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So his spirit just feels very well formed, and yeah, his choice right now is to help intuitively guide you, if that is welcome.
Yes.
Um
Then let me ask this question little bit differently to him. If
okay.
I'm curious to know, like, does he also think like we are connected at the soul level?
I think he does. I'm not used to this. Okay. He's kind of talking about, he's showing me you as a little girl. So I think he was around your life before and came back around again. So I don't think it's an outlandish idea. I mean, here we are having a spirit reading. What's an outlandish idea, right? I don't think it's an outlandish idea for him to come around again in your lifetime physically. I can't get an answer as to what. So maybe that's not decided yet, or the opportunity isn't quite there. Like, I'm seeing you as like a 6-year-old girl, like pretty young, and he was around you somehow. I wish I had more details for you, but that's what I'm getting right now. And that I'm seeing like the spiral of like coming back around. He's very protective of you, and he wants people to be kind to you. He's very defensive, very protective of you. And I think he's still talking about the cycle of life with him, like successful endings, successful beginnings, like it'll happen again. I'm just not quite sure. I'm just not quite seeing how.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. I have written down a couple of messages for you that I can go through, but I want to ask you really quick if you had any more questions before we did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No other
Okay.
questions. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. I want to open it to him. He's kind of bringing up some sort of meditative journey for you. He can come closer, if that makes sense. Okay.
Yes, that makes complete sense. Yes.
Okay.
I used to have meditative sessions before, just to develop my psychic ability little bit. And like I kind of fell out of it, and these days I've been getting that thought that I should pick up meditating again, but I haven't been doing so that much. So I think this might be the push that I need.
Yeah, because he's like, it's like a meditative journey. It's recuperation. It's restorative, and it feels very quiet to me. And in that quiet space, he can come closer and just blend with you, and just be with you a little bit. So yeah, take that as encouragement. And if you ever want to off of this, talk about like exercises and things that, I find work, or, I just love having conversations about developing our abilities.
Oh,
I would love to
nice.
have, hit me up and we can talk. Okay.
Oh, perfect. Okay. One thing leads to the other one.
Right. Come on the show for a reading. No, just, yeah. I don't know if people can tell, but when it comes, I'm just kind of an open book, and I just love experiencing fascinating things and sharing it with people,
Oh, that's so nice.
It's important. It's important. Okay. The messages I wrote down for you are, focus on contentment. Practice gratitude, which I'm sure you are aware of how, like, just be grateful for all that you have. He has this cat perspective of, oh my gosh, you have shelter. And oh my gosh, you have warm blankets. Oh my gosh, you have all these things. And it's kind of, as human beings, we tend to overlook these things, when really we have abundance all around us, right? And if we pay attention to it, we can be so grateful for what we have and what we're cultivating and the life that we're growing for ourselves and protecting and nurturing. So wonderful practice. And his advice is expect clarity and truth in your life, and don't accept anything else. And it's almost that cat perspective of, you better be truthful with me. I need clarity.
Mm-hmm.
there's no argument, there's no question about that. That's not on the table to debate. You know what I mean? So he's like, just, I want clarity and I want truth. Those are his perspectives for you that he
Oh,
wanted me to
perfect.
convey. So complex, so complex. So thank you so much for allowing me to do this reading for you. Every reading I do, I feel is practice and learning. And it's just wonderful to share that with you. So thank you. Thank you for your time and for trusting me to do this for you.
Thank you so much for the reading. I was not sure how would it go and whether Ace will come through or not, and this was like perfect. Thank you.
That's wonderful. That always makes me so happy to hear. Before we go, do you have a personal ghost story that you would like to share?
Yes, I have two really small ones.
Okay. Listener ghost story.
Once, when Ace was still alive, I woke up. Uh, Ace used to sleep next to me. Like we have a dresser, and then on that we have the cat bed, and he used to sleep on that right
Mm-hmm.
next to my side of the bed. And for some reason, I just woke up in the middle of the night and I see he was sitting, exactly him, his face and everything. And we both are staring at each other, and he was sitting and staring at me as well. And exactly Ace, right? My mind was little bit confused. Okay, I just woke up and I see why is he sitting and staring at me. And then I hear Ace actually was using the litter box in a room next to us, and he was just trying to, how cats,
Uh-huh.
when they use the litter box, they try to
Scratching.
close it, scratching. Then I heard it, then my mind got confused, like, wait, I'm hearing Ace, who is this cat, right? And then once I once Ace started coming into the bedroom, I heard him push the door little bit and come to the bedroom. And then when I tried to look at the cat back again, his eyes turned all red
Wow.
and looked at me. And for some reason, the feeling I got was like I was totally not scared. I was like, what the hell are you doing here? Sort of a feeling that I got.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cat looked very confused, and it felt as though like he's like, why is she not scared of me? And then he disappeared. So that's the first one. And
Wow.
then the second story that I have is like, it's interesting. I recently heard about this phenomena wherein the energy of the living people keep repeating itself that you hear. So I feel like that's the case. Um, for example, like when Ace was alive, he was walking around. I still used to see him
Mm-hmm.
for a split second, corner of my eyes playing, even though he was alive at that time. And that used to confuse my brain a lot, like what's happening. Like I'm seeing him. He's alive, he's not dead.
Mm-hmm.
He's like upstairs, but I see him downstairs and I go upstairs to check. He's like sleeping, right? There's no
Mm-hmm.
way that he would be downstairs. Even sometimes when we are in the same room, AC is on one side, I see exactly him on the other side. It used to confuse me a lot, like, okay, what's happening? Is this something that I need to worry about, or is this Ace? Then I also hear like sometimes there's a different way of how we call our parrots. Everyone is free flighted. There's a way we call their name. It's
Mm-hmm.
very specific. Others usually don't call the same way like the way we call. And the other day, uh, in the broad daylight, and all this is in broad daylight, not in the night. So it's not like I'm sleeping or anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's all in the broad daylight, like in the afternoon time, right? And or in the evenings. Bella was screaming a lot, and I hear my husband's voice calling her name in the specific way, the way he calls. Even she heard it. Like he called it like twice.
Mm-hmm.
She heard it and she flew, thinking that okay, he came up. And then I flew behind her. Like I was surprised that okay, he works from downstairs, we all work from home. I was like, okay, how come he came up already from working? But then we didn't find him. I even called his name, but he didn't respond. Then I went down just to check. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like sitting and working. He was so deep into work. He didn't like, he was then making a joke like it's maybe my subconscious mind who might be thinking and calling. And this has been, we have heard this like many, many, many times. And even some of the relatives, like my mother-in-law who came to stay with us, when both me and my husband were out for the day, she heard our voices calling the parrots. And when she went to look again, there were no one. And even whenever we hear the voices, it's not just us who hear, the birds also hear them, and they also run towards where
Mhm.
the voice came. So
Wow.
these are my few short
Yeah.
ghost stories.
Yeah. Because some people might think, oh, you're hearing the parrots mimicking you, but the parrots are responding to the voices as well, and the voices aren't coming from the birds. They're across the room or something like that.
Yes, and there's definitely not parrots mimicking, because even if parrots mimic the words, the way they mimic, it's not as clear as a human voice,
Mm-hmm.
especially the parrots that we have, unless it's a African grey or macaw or a different parrot. These are like small, like cockatiel and green cheek conure,
Okay.
and the voice is exactly my husband's voice,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
exactly his voice. And we hear.
Wow.
So we don't know what to make of it. Is it like a ghost trying to mimic our voices in the home? We don't know.
Oh, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. And then with your cat Ace, seeing him in different parts of the house when you knew he wasn't there, do
Yeah.
you happen to realize if it was only when he was sleeping, like he was astral projecting, or could he be awake somewhere and still you see him somewhere else? Have you
Oh,
ever
I
thought
used to
about
see
that?
him even when he was fully awake and playing.
Okay.
Even when he's walking, like he used to walk um, in front of me, and then I used to see a cat exactly him. and
Wow.
and I never had a black cat like him ever, that I
Mm-hmm.
knew, that passed away, to say that maybe that's another black cat, or
Mm-hmm.
knew any of my friends, anyone that I knew had a black cat, or the
Mm-hmm.
previous owners of this house, they never had any pets. No one around us has any pets.
Mm-hmm.
They all have dogs. I'm the only person who had cat. And that too, the black cat that I kept seeing, it's an exact copy of Ace. Like I can
Wow.
recognize Ace had one of the ear was little bit bent because he was also diabetic,
Mm-hmm.
and it's exact mirror replica of him.
Oh, wow. Fascinating. Fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing the stories. And thanks
No
again
worries. Thank you.
for allowing me to do the reading for you. This has just been wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The reading was very wonderful, and it was very helpful to know that he is here around me. That's very comforting. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, he definitely is. He really, really is.
Yes, and thank you for allowing me to be part of the podcast.
Oh, of course. Of course. Thank you for supporting the podcast and listening. It means the world to me. That's so wonderful that we cross paths in that way independently. That's really cool. Spooky season is upon us. Listen to I Talk to Ghosts for an atmospheric chill and to never feel alone, knowing the spirits are always around you. The autumn months are the perfect time to share and recommend this podcast to your ghoulish friends. Thank you for supporting the podcast and sharing the spooky. Hello and welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. I have a message from the spirits tonight, so thank you for joining me at my seance table. Tonight, as I work, I have with me green moonstone. Green moonstone is supposed to be a very powerful crystal in aiding you in reclaiming your own self-personal power. It assists you in removing self-doubt, self-criticism, self-sabotaging thoughts, and replaces all of that with self-compassion, love, inspiration, and acceptance. So keep a piece of green moonstone near you if those are the sort of things that you are working on currently. At this time, I clear my mind, open the space for a spirit to come close. There is a very loving man coming through. Father, grandfather energy. I'm seeing either a carnival or a fair. This feels like you would know him because of this family tradition, good memories of going there, all that summer fun. And the words hay bale popped into my mind. Fond energy around country music, good food, company. He's showing me that you are very school-oriented, very academic. And he admires that about you and wants to encourage your learning. Yeah, I'm seeing lots of books. Everyone knows what that means. Are you currently having conflict with someone? This feels like a clash of personalities. The advice is to hold back. Don't act out. Don't even act right now. Hang back and just see what a little time will do. Now is not the time to have the mindset of quickly resolving this. Just let it breathe. Let it breathe and see what happens. Yeah, he's suggesting some kind of cooling off period. I'm seeing a little dog. I wonder why he's changing the subject to this. Bring some playful energy into your life. Focus on the things that you just love and love you back. Yeah, there are other things you could be throwing good energy into right now. And with that, time will pass. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. If this message connects for you, as always, please reach out. You can email me at speaknow@italktoghosts.com, or you can connect with me through my website, italktoghosts.com. Thank you. Would you like a free spirit reading with me and record your reading for the podcast? Sign up for your chance to be selected by visiting italktoghosts.com/guest. And as an added bonus, if you don't want to leave your reading up to chance, I'll let you in on a secret. There's a discount offer to book a private session with me, so you can book a date and time for certain. Visit italktoghosts.com/guest for more details. Welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. Unfortunately, in some cultures, black cats are often considered bad luck. As an owner of a black cat myself, I can tell you he is full of mischief, but his disbursement of luck is never in question. In spiritual symbolism, seeing a black cat often signifies a transformation or a period of rebirth. It's believed to be a sign of upcoming changes, urging you to trust your intuition and embrace the unknown. Black cats are also associated with mystery, independence, and protection against evil forces. Historically, black cats have been linked with witchcraft and occult practices, but they are also seen as symbols of luck in various cultures. So the next time you encounter a black cat, consider it as a spiritual guide leading you towards self-discovery and personal growth. Need something to break a bad luck streak or even a hex or a curse? How about something for protection or to attract love? I have something for you to try. Black cat oil. Meow. Black cat oil is used to break bad spells and hexes, but it can also be used to attract positive attention from the opposite sex, or the same sex if that's what makes you purr. It all depends on what ingredients you use and how you make the oil. Thankfully, the ingredients aren't even hard to come by. To make, gather the following: dried and crumbled sage, dried and crushed bay leaves, myrrh oil or myrrh resin, and a bit of steel wool. The tricky bit, but also a quite predictable one, is that you also need a little bit of fur from a black cat. Blend all of your ingredients together with a carrier oil. And here's where you want to be specific with your intent. Use castor oil or mineral oil if you are creating a hex. If your intent is to make this for protection, blend all your ingredients with castor oil or jojoba oil. And if romance is your motivating factor, use sweet almond oil. Castor oil has a commanding aspect to it, and sweet almond oil is considered to have an aphrodisiac appeal. And of course, as with any magic work, focus your intention, heighten your emotions, and simply pour them into your work so that the ingredients start to represent a physical manifestation of what you desire. Now, when you're done, wear the oil for protection or for love. If you are creating a hex, anoint an unused black candle with the hexing oil before you burn it. And I would suggest not getting any of the hexing oil on yourself or other belongings of yours. There are a few other steps you can take, but I'll leave that to you to research as to what is right for you. And with that, dear listener, we've reached the end of this episode of I Talk to Ghosts. I hope you've enjoyed my spirit work that I shared with you this evening, as well as those spooky stories of black cats. Have you ever had an extraordinary encounter with a black feline? I would love to know, so please reach out. In the meantime, wherever you wander off to in this world or the next, just remember, come back and visit with me. Have a lovely evening and good night.